Hi everyone, welcome to SKR Yoga and Wellness. My name is Sam, and today we are doing a class for spinal flexibility. So this class is actually going to work its way up to a peak pose, and that peak pose is wheel. So if wheel is a goal that you've had in mind, something that you've really wanted to work towards, then this is a great class to put into your rotation so that you can keep working towards wheel and working towards getting that pretty extreme back arch. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with some rounds of cat and cow. So coming onto all fours, knees right under your hips, palms underneath your shoulders, and we're going to take it in circles today. So on an inhale, just like normal, dropping the belly and lifting the gaze, and then on an exhale, bringing your tailbone and head to the right, and then coming into center, and then inhaling back to the side, and all the way up. We'll keep going in that same direction twice more. Exhaling, circling in. Inhaling, circling to the left to come back up. Last one, exhale, circling in. And inhale, circling up. And we're going to reverse this now. So exhale to the left, circling in. Inhaling, back up. And again, exhale to the left. And center, and inhale, up, last one, exhale, left, and center, right, up, and coming back to neutral spine, taking your right foot, swinging it forward between the palms, coming up to a low lunge, so arms are going to reach up right beside your ears. Keep your thighs drawing in towards each other and belly button pulling in so that core and legs are still engaged here. And then on an exhale, you're going to twist and drop your right arm onto your left thigh and just reversing this low lunge. So reaching, plugging that left arm towards the sky, breathing into the twist, feeling a little bit of an intense stretch in the front of your left hip. And then on your next inhale, bringing the right arm back up to meet the left. Both palms will come down to the mat, coming back to tabletop. We're right away going to do that on the other side, so bringing your left foot forward, knee right on top of your ankle, lifting the arms up, keeping your inner thighs and core engaged. Inhale to grow taller. Exhale, left arm this time reaches back, right arm reaches up and over, reversing this low lunge. Breathing deeply into that stretch in the front of your right hip. And on your next inhale, right arm will come up to meet the left. And palms back down, coming into tabletop. And now coming all the way down onto your belly. So reaching your arms in kind of a cactus position on the floor here. You're going to bend both of your legs and then just flip onto your right side. So kind of like you're laying down in bed on your right, but your right arm is coming into a stretch underneath you. So you should feel a nice opening up in the front of your right chest. Try to send your breath into this place. Breathing. And coming back through center, and then right away placing your left hand, and then switching your hips over to the left side. So stretching into the left side of your body now. Breathing deeply. To eventually get to wheel pose, we really want to open up the front side of our body and strengthen our back and glutes and hamstrings to make it happen. So we're starting with opening up the front, and then we'll work on strengthening as well. So bringing your legs back to center, lowering the legs back down, and from here we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So bringing your elbows onto the mat, They're about shoulder width distance apart here. And then the closer you have your elbows in towards your ribs here, the harder, or the more intense, I should say, that the stretch will be. So if you wanted to ease off, you could always walk your elbows out a little bit more. So pick wherever is comfortable for you. Keep your fingers pressing into the floor, shoulders sliding down your back, and reaching the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Breathing deeply into your belly button here. Sending the breath also in towards your lower back. So try to imagine here in this posture that you're breathing in 360 degrees. So from the front of your body all the way around the ribs. So not just in the front or the back, but really like an umbrella, expanding and contracting. And we'll softly release back down onto the mat. Now you're going to reach your hands forward, thumbs facing up towards the ceiling. Nose is just hovering above the mat. And on an inhale here, you're going to power up those back muscles and lift the upper body up off of the mat. And then exhale, place those arms back down. And then on an inhale, lifting the lower body, so just the legs up off the floor, and then back down onto the mat. And now this time on an inhale, we're going to extend everything up, so arms and legs. Try to keep your knees pointing down towards the mat so we're not turning out the legs at all. And exhale back onto the mat. Inhaling back up. Breathing normally here. Trying to breathe into your belly button. And exhale back down. Last time. Inhaling back up. Keep your inner thighs pulling in towards each other. And exhale down. Bring your hands in. Send the hips back, finding child's pose. Let's bring the knees apart and the toes together, melting your forehead down. And relax. We'll take about 5 breaths here. And slowly walking the palms back in. Let's come up to seated and bring the knees all the way together now. And then we're gonna come back to a child's pose, but with your hands reaching behind you. Grab a hold of your heels here, and then you're going to lift your hips up, transferring onto the top of your head, and then just gently pulling your heels to find a little bit of a stretch in your upper back here. You don't want to actually pour any weight into your head. We don't want to create any funny kinks or compression in the neck. So your weight is still in your legs, but your head is just there acting as an anchor to help you find the stretch in your upper back. And we'll exhale, releasing this so your hips come back down onto your heels. Lift your forehead up. And then find your first downward dog. So walking your palms out, tuck the toes, send your heels down towards the mat. Belly button pulling in, spine is nice and long. And just settling in here. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg up towards the sky. You can let the hip open, bending at the knee. And then swinging it forward in between the palms, finding runner's lunge. So reaching the arms right away up overhead, finding a 90-degree angle with that front knee, reaching through the back heel. And then from here, you're just gonna cactus your arms, so bend them at a 90-degree angle. And then inhale to grow, get taller, and then just find a slight back bend. So we're not spilling weight into the lower back. My core is still engaged here. I'm and really just trying to lift back from the rib cage into this arch. And then we'll come back to center, really engage the core here, and then step through all the way up onto your right leg, grabbing a hold of that left knee, and then just push your left knee into your hands. So we're trying to release the lower back a little bit here. And then from here, we're gonna take this knee and swing it back, finding warrior three. I would suggest, just for what's about to come next, to have your arms out beside you in kind of an airplane position. So keep your shoulder blades sliding down your back, core is engaged, heel is reaching out behind you. And breathing here, trying to find strength in that right supporting leg. Now, we're going to try and take this shape exactly as it is. Keep that right leg plugging into the ground, and we're just gonna open up the body to turn and face towards the side. And then just gently, if you can, placing your right fingertips on the floor. This is not an easy transition, so don't discourage yourself if it's a little wobbly. And then you're welcome to stay here in half moon or bend into the left knee, finding sugar cane. So stretching into the quad, pushing your left heel into your left hand, still fighting for that balance. Breathing here. Try to use your eyes to steady yourself. Lock into an unmoving point in front of you. And then exhale, release. We're stepping back into plank. And then hold here for a moment. Exhale, chaturanga. Hold halfway for 3, 2, 1. All the way down. Arching back, take cobra or up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Congratulate yourself for taking on that rather challenging transition, that rather challenging sequence there. And we'll get ready to do it all again on the left side. So on an inhale, lifting your left leg up, bending at the knee, opening up the hip. And then swinging the leg forward, finding a runner's lunge. Arms reaching up. Belly button pulling in. And once again, finding cactus arms, and then inhaling to find a slight arch in the upper back. So again, we're trying not to spill into a back extension in the low back here. Keep your core engaged, and then just lift up out of that from the ribs. And then on your next inhale, coming back to center, and then we're pushing up onto the left leg. Right knee comes up into your chest, and then we're gonna push the right knee into your hands, creating a little bit of tension here to release the lower back. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then flex that right foot, send it back. Here we go, you got this, warrior 3. Use the extension of your arms out beside you here to help with balance. Allow that reach to stabilize you, also reaching out through the right heel, keeping the core engaged, and reaching the crown of the head towards the top of the mat. And we will twist. Keep your eyes locked on the floor as your body opens up towards the right side, and then just gently place your fingertips down. You can totally keep your eyes towards the floor. If you really want an extra challenge, you can look to the side wall. And then again, staying in half moon or coming into sugar cane. I'm having a bit more of a difficult time finding balance on this side, but it's always going to be a different experience from side to side. So once again, Try not to get discouraged. Just doing the best you can here. Ooh. And holding for one more breath. And releasing, coming into plank. Again, we're gonna hold chaturanga at the bottom for 3, 2, 1. Release and arch of your choice here. And then reaching back up into downward facing dog. Once again, breathing and feeling grateful that that sequence is now over. And now from here, let your knees come down onto the mat, sitting back on your heels, and relax. But not for long, because now we're coming into camel pose, which if you haven't yet progressed or you haven't yet tried wheel pose, this is a really great posture to get to first and to really try to master first before moving on to wheel. So feel free to repeat this a couple of times, even as I'm moving forward into more challenging things. But yeah, let's give it a try. So sitting on your heels first, then you're just gonna lift your hips up so your hips are right on top of your knees. You might wanna give a little bit of space so your knees are about hip-width distance apart. They're not all the way together here. So first step, hands on your hips, is just to inhale, grow and get taller, and then exhale, arching back as best as you can here, really feeling a stretch in the front of your hips. And then if you would like to progress, you can keep your hands on your hips or extending your hands to the soles of your feet. So your palms and your feet are connecting here. Keep your hips pushing forward, and then you can either keep your head looking up towards the sky as I am here, or let the head relax back, looking behind you. I'm gonna keep my head up because it's a little bit easier to talk this way. So keep your hips pushing forward, keep your glutes engaged here to support you. And you really want to feel that stretch all through the front side of your body. So your chest, your abs, your quads, your hip flexors, everything is opening up here. And then to come out of this pose, first just place your hands back on your hips and then coming back through to your seated position. Maybe take a few breaths here. Reorient yourself with being right side up. And then we're going to come into a little bit of an arm strengthener because we do also need to rely on our arms in wheel pose. So we're coming into reverse plank. So stretching your heels out in front of you, bringing your fingers behind you, pointing towards your toes. So fingers towards your toes, and then heels pushing into the floor on an exhale. Lift the hips up, trying to make a nice long line from your heels all the way up to the crown of your head. So keep your belly button pulling in. Using those glutes to really push your hips up, just like we were in camel pose. We'll take 3 more breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Releasing the hips back down. And now lowering all the way down. We're progressing slowly to the main event. So soles of your feet on the floor. We're first gonna do bridge pose. So as we are here, just push your weight into your heels and you're gonna lift your pelvis and spine up off the floor and already try to find an arch in your back. So we're not making a straight line here. We're really pushing and allowing the hips to go past that straight line. And then if you'd like, you can interlace your fingers underneath you and just push your fist in towards the floor. Breathing deeply in this bridge pose here. This is a great stepping stone to get you into wheel. And on your next exhale, releasing the palms and bringing the hips slowly back down onto the mat. And now, if you would like to repeat bridge pose before coming into wheel, by all means, please do. Otherwise, if you'd like to give wheel a try, you can follow me here. So, placing the soles of your feet on the floor just as we are. Take your palms, flip them, so your fingers are pointing towards your heels once again. And then from here, you're going to push, just like we do for bridge pose, push into your heels, and then lifting your hips off the floor, and then pushing into your hands to lift your upper body off the floor. And then just hanging out here in bridge, keeping those glutes a little bit activated to push your hips closer towards the sky. Finding deep breaths. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And most importantly, to come out of this posture, make sure you tuck your chin in first, then bend your arms to place your shoulders, and then bend, send your hips down all the way onto the mat. Great job, guys. We're gonna reverse that motion of the spine now, so just bring your knees into your chest, lift your head up off the mat, and just rock back and forth, finding this nice ball position here. Kind of like child's pose, but just flipped over. And releasing back down onto the mat. So I am now going to come into shoulder stand. Once again, if you want to take it a little bit easy or are not quite yet at the level of shoulder stand, you can also use a wall. So you can walk your feet up the wall to do shoulder stand, or you can also place a block or a cushion under your hips and just let your legs rest straight up overhead. So I'm gonna progress into shoulder stand. So whenever you're ready, lifting the legs and hips up off the mat, and then trying to reach your legs up towards the ceiling. Trying as best as you can to make a straight line with your body here. I know I'm not quite straight. This is something I've been working on. And of course it's a practice, so we're slowly getting there. If you would like to progress into plow, please feel free to do that. I'm gonna stick around right here. But this is your practice, so any variation you would like to do is totally fine with me. And then whether you're in plow or in shoulder stand, you're just slowly gonna roll yourself back out onto the mat. Whew. I don't know about you, but my spine is feeling really great. And we're just gonna finish that off with a little laying spinal twist. So lifting your hips over to the right, crossing the right thigh over the left. And then on an exhale, let your knees fall to the side, and then your eyes will go to the right. And then really enjoying this moment, fully relax. Breathing deeply into the belly. This is a really great twist to do for the spine after all of that work we did in the wheel. And firming up the belly to come back to center. Uncross the legs and now send your hips over to the left. Cross your left thigh over your right. And then on an exhale, sending the knees to the right. Eyes go to the left. Make sure both shoulders are staying firmly pressed into the mat here. I don't think I said that on the first side, but it still applies. So your shoulders are staying anchored and you're twisting from your belly button. Sending your breath into this place as well. And now firming up the belly, float the legs back to center, uncross, and finding Shavasana. So letting your legs fall open, maybe shake them out, let your arms rest by your sides, shoulders are relaxed, hips are relaxed, and just softly close the eyes, sending your breath deep into your belly. And take a second to really congratulate yourself and be grateful for coming onto the mat today and using this practice to really work towards that peak pose, whether you've done a wheel before or not. Just being grateful for the opportunity. And with all of this gratitude in mind, we'll take another 10 breaths or so, breathing deeply. Slowly start to wake back up, wiggling your fingers and toes, maybe stretching your arms up overhead. And when you're ready, on your own time, rolling onto your right side, coming on up into a seated position. And as always, bringing your hands Anjali Mudra in front of your chest and bending forward, namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for doing this practice with me, working on our peak pose of wheel. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found a little bit of progress in your practice at whatever stage that you're at. Please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to SKR Yoga and Wellness if you haven't already. It really does help support me, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you once again, and I hope to see you on the mat again soon.